And now it is the moment you guys have been waiting for. We've been waiting to do this. We've been talking about it for a while now, folks. Let's get into it. Folks,
movie reviews.
Paul, you have to start us off tonight. What are we talking about first here in movie reviews?
Can I just say before I start that I hate you so much?
I don't get why.
Well, it's a general comment, but I also hate you so much. Right. RoboCop. Let's talk about RoboCop.
We've been waiting. Please.
So RoboCop is a movie from 1987.
Wait, what? Hold on. From where?
From this dim and distant past that doesn't exist anymore called the 1980s.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should probably say that we're not talking about the new RoboCop.
Ah.
Wait, we're not? I'm offended.
No, we're talking about this really obscure movie that's been lost to the archives and thus has to be remade.
Which I guess we should let everybody know in case they, weren't able to tune in last week. We're talking our favorite movies and TV shows this week. So we each picked one that we liked. Paul's is RoboCop.
That was a good setup. If they didn't listen last week, then shame on them. What were you doing anyway?
Who knows?
Paul, why is RoboCop your favorite movie? I'd like to know.
All right, then. Give me 3 minutes and I'll give you a review. Basically, RoboCop is cerebral enough that I can feel smart watching it because there's a lot of satire going on. And it's still, I watched it last night and a lot of it's still scarily relevant. Even more relevant. And it's got enough mindless action that it lets me know that it's completely on my level. So, it's smart, but it's not too smart for me. And, yeah. Also, Kurtwood Smith. He's an amazing human being.
From that 70s show.
Look, Clarence Bodicar's a bad guy for the ages, man. He spits on everything, but he's awesome.
Also, people's limbs being blown off with guns.
Yeah. And Bill Paxton as a random baddie.
And enough blood squibs to fill the Grand Canyon. I don't see how this doesn't sound perfect.
Was it the first one or the second one that had the hilarious commercials in it? With
you mean like Nukem?
I don't remember that one. I specifically remember the guy trying to break into the car and getting electrocuted.
I think that must have been in two. I think they both had hilarious commercials because I don't remember that from watching last night. But yeah, this one just had a dinosaur fighting an SUV, an SUX 6000.
So why is it one of your favorite movies, though, Paul? What is about it that holds a special place in your heart?
Well, I love that kind of film anyway. I'm a big fan of late 80s, early 90s sci-fi. I love Total Recall and I love Fifth Element. I love another one coming up later. Spoiler. But this one, it's got everything that I love in movies. It's got satire, which is a dying art form, and this does it perfectly. It's got stupid, over-the-top hyperviolence. It's got a whole cast of colourful characters. Every single one of the gang members, Clarence's gang members, has their own personality. They all leap off screen. And, yeah, everything about it's just fantastic. I watch it, it's wonderful.
Well, RoboCop has always had a little a spot in my childhood. I grew up on all three of those movies, so not my favorite movie, but definitely a place of
You mean Free didn't turn you off forever?
What's that?
Free didn't turn you off forever?
Didn't turn me off forever, no. But the movies never necessarily turned me on forever either, so there's that.
Are you able to accept Peter Weller as anything other than RoboCop?
Considering he's morphed into a grumpy old man, and pretty much every single movie I've seen since is him playing a really grumpy bastard, I can accept that.
I gotta say that Gerber is probably the funniest product placement in an R-rated movie I've ever seen.
Wait, what was it? Wait, remind me.
He shoots the baby food jars because it's all he can eat.
Yeah, he like shoots like baby food jars to get his targeting system realigned.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I forgot how much organics there was in him because I was like, why is all that there? Because the whole point is they rejected his arm because they were like, oh, get rid of that, we don't need that. And then he's got like organics all inside of him, which I don't understand.
I want to say, I want to make it that's what she said, but I don't think it works.
It's got organics all inside of him, that's what she said, no. But yeah, RoboCop, it's amazing, and he's Jesus.
This is the last podcast.
Amazing.
RoboCop is Jesus. Oh man. All right. Well, one of Paul's favorite movies is RoboCop. So let's keep it moving. Let's move it over to Phil. Phil, what did you pick?
Well, my favorite movie also contains a little bit of violence, but not on the level of RoboCop. I mean, there's some swirlies. I think there's a toe removal, bowling ball to the face, to a popular bass player, but nothing like RoboCop. But my movie was The Big Lebowski. I had to think about it for a while. There's a lot of movies that I really like, but somehow that movie prevailed for me just simply because I think I've watched it about 700 times over my whole life. And Jeff Bridges will probably always remain the dude in my mind. But I just love that movie. It's a great story set in kind of a weird time. They do a really good job of like setting the stage for the time. You know, you see George H.W. Bush in the very beginning saying, you know, this will not stand. This aggression will not stand. And so that just kind of cements that time in my life with the dude in Los Angeles, and the dude will abide. So I don't know. There's so many things I could say about that movie, but to those Lebowskis out there, I think they know what they're, you know, they know what I'm saying is it's just one of those movies that kind of endears itself for the characters that are in the movie. I love the dude. I love Walter, Donnie. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in that movie. Oh, it just occurred to me.
Too soon.
It just occurred to me. He has a great character in that movie too, as well. I think his character is just hilarious. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, that movie, it never stood out to me as something amazing until I saw it like 400 times, and I started to get a little bit more of this kind of the story of this kind of unwitting detective type character, because, you know, the Lebowski character, he comes off as if like, oh, I don't do anything. I just, you know, I abide, I do my thing, I go bowling, smoke a doobie. But, you know, in the end, he kind of unravels this like pretty convoluted mystery, and he does all the things that our favorite spies do. You know, he sleeps with women with no consequences, and, you know, all these kind of things that could be glamorous but are not in his life, and it all kind of sneaks under the radar, and you still love him at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, the Big Lebowski is just one of those that I'll always come back to that movie.
Phil, be honest with me. Did you ever find a stranger in the Alps?
I'm still looking. I have not found a stranger in the Alps.
Is it weird that film sort of has defined Jeff Bridges, like most of his performances, like since that movie?
I think it could have been weird, but I don't think it is. I mean, it's pretty good for him. He still kind of retains that look in a lot of his roles. Like, not all of them, obviously. He goes clean cut and that kind of thing, but there's definitely some where he still kind of embellishes his bohemian side, and I think it worked for him. I mean, I think he's he's good for that look.
Yeah, I was going to say, he hasn't done an awful lot to shake it, to be fair.
No, he hasn't, but just a few here and there.
Well, I just thought...
He did a little bit in Iron Man. He kind of went for like the corporate greedy guy, but then there were a couple scenes in there, like the scene where he takes the pizza back from Tony. I'm like, there's the dude.
You can have a piece.
See, my question here is, did you try a White Russian before or after you saw that movie?
That's a great question, and I definitely tried a White Russian after I saw The Big Lebowski.
What'd
I
you
still
think?
do to this day sometimes.
You like them?
If I'm not going to drink anything else, yes. But yeah, if any other liquor or beer will be consumed, I've learned White Russians are kind of a bad idea.
They're you got to do the weak version of the sombrero, just without the vodka, basically.
It's the milk and the coffee and all that. That doesn't need to mix with
That's it.
tequila, beer, rum, whatever else might happen that night. So yeah.
See, I always thought they sounded really good, but I've never had one, so I'm curious.
Oh, I think they are
They're
tasty.
delicious.
Yeah. It's a nice little dessert beverage. But anyway, just like the White Russian, there's lots of little nuggets from the Big Lebowski that will live on with me. And the dude abides. So there you go.
So, Phil, one of Phil's favorite. Actually, no. You said, just so we're clarifying, you said this is your favorite movie.
I think so. Yeah, I thought about it for a while. I think I'm going to, if I had to pick a favorite, which I did have to do, yes. The answer is yes.
Fair enough, because I was going to say we were saying one of favorites. You said
Really?
favorite.
I must have agonized a lot harder this week than you guys did then.
Paul, is RoboCop your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah, I
that's what
thought
we
we
were
were talking
doing.
like favorite movies. Like, I didn't realize you meant like one of.
My answer makes no sense.
So this show's theme is everyone's favorite movies except for Theron, which is he's going to tell us one of his favorites.
One of his. Right. Okay.
Oh, man.
Wow. Travis, what is your favorite?
Better repick quick, dude.
Oh, man. Travis, what you got for us?
My favorite movie is actually reminiscent of a topic we were on last week, but I had to really think about it. But I was like, you know what? My favorite movie really is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original Steve Barron live-action film.
Wow. That resonates for me. I've definitely watched that movie a lot of times.
Yeah, what's great about it is it's very rare that you have a favorite movie when you're 6 and then you can watch it as an adult and it holds up for you, but for completely different reasons. I mean, when you're a kid, it's like, oh man, turtles they're real, and that's all you need back then. You got the action scenes and everything and the jokes, and you watch it as an adult and you're like, oh my god, they're trying to tell like an emotional story about these 4 basically lost kids looking for their dad essentially, and it's like they kind of grow up over the course of the movie, and as an adult you can kind of you get into that, and that's awesome for me, and then you've got Casey Jones, who Elias Koteas just steals that movie. Every scene he's in, he's just nailing it. And as a kid, he flies under the radar. You're like, oh, Casey's cool, but Turtles. And then as an adult, you're like, man, this guy is knocking this out of the park. Like, he did not phone that in at all.
Plus, there's a big green turtle that screams "damn" throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, that's awesome too. I really wish that Raph would have gone for the non sequiturs from the 80s cartoon while also being that angry, swearing Raphael. That would have been great.
Is it like, Travis, I know we've talked about it a lot with this movie though too, but isn't the entire experience of it though doesn't it just bring back your childhood, like the VHS of it, the Pizza Hut commercial?
The whole thing, man. The
yeah.
whole thing. The Pizza Hut commercial on the little kids' Little League baseball diamond and everything. All of it. But yeah, there's just something about that time period. It's just
You gotta
it's
learn
special.
how to catch. Gotta
Exactly.
learn how to throw.
And you're right. Go.
Out where the dandelions grow.
And there's also something to be said too for the fact that Jim Henson pulled something off. I mean, the movie came out in 1990, but he built those suits in '89. That he pulled something off in 1989 that shouldn't have been possible in 1989. At least to me, like they still hold up. Yeah, you can see like the neck seam a little bit and everything, but overall they emote. Like you buy them as characters, almost more than something CGI'd today. Even though, yeah, it's a little more well integrated into action sequences and whatnot. But those suits are unbelievable, and Jim Henson, I think, those get kind of forgotten because he's such a Goliath with the Muppets and everything. But those were some of his best work, I feel.
He was part of this movie?
Jim Henson built those turtle costumes.
Really? Blimey, I might have to rewatch this.
Yeah, the Muppets.
Yeah, Jim
Does
Henson's
it
work
bother
is-
you? Does it bother you that Splinter is also Elmo, is also a criminal?
You know what? I can't let that taint my enjoyment of the film. I
Wait,
really
And
can't.
and no, and yet you won't let Zoe watch Sesame Street because of Elmo.
Wait, is it the same voice actor?
Kevin Clash was the puppeteer and voice actor. Yeah.
I did not know that. Huh.
You learn something new every day. Elmo.
Splinter is a rapist. All right.
Oh man. See,
I wasn't going to say the R
I
word.
I gotta close this up better than that. But yeah, final statements. I mean, I'm sure I don't have to convince everybody to see this film. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking, for something from your childhood that you can watch today and almost get more out of it, Ninja Turtles is the way to go.
All right. So Travis's favorite movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Great choice. All great choices so far, guys. Those are like some really good movies there. All right, because I still have to change mine. Ashley, what do you got?
I was going to say I can change my answer to one of my favorite movies if you don't want to be left alone.
No, I think I got it.
Okay. Well, I picked Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, honestly. Because, I thought we were picking our all-time favorite movies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, truth be told, that movie has pretty much, like, everything that I want in a movie. It's got, like, great action, great comedy, a really attractive main character. He's got a hat. Hats are important. I don't know. There's suspense. There's danger. There's a romance that's not like, over the top or in your face too much. I generally feel that Harrison Ford, while he's not like the greatest actor in the world, he does action hero really well. At least he did. He's a little crotchety now, but back in the day, man, he could rock that. In his Han Solo days and his Indiana Jones days, he was so perfect for that role, and I like everything he did was solid gold. I just, and then you got like Alfred Molina with the spiders in the beginning, and the Nazis with the melted faces. That's really important. That left scarring images in my childhood that definitely contributed to me picking it. I mean, I don't know. Just overall, I mean, when we're talking about like scores and everything, 1 to 5, every single one of those movies, the trilogy of Indiana Jones, I say that very clearly, the trilogy, as a whole, I'd get 5 stars from being the perfect kind of everything movie you could think of wanting in an action movie, in an action adventure movie.
But if all 3 of them get 5 stars, what sets this one apart from the other 2?
Yeah, honestly, probably just because I like the story of that one better. I mean, it was so close. It was between this one and The Last Crusade because the relationship between him and Sean Connery in the third one was fantastic. Like, I love that dynamic between them. But, I mean, honestly, I think what inched this one out is just, no ticket. So
What was interesting to me is that, and I know you were shocked because I actually told you, is that Temple of Doom was a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because when I was younger, I always thought, okay, it's the first movie, so it has to be the first one in the series, not realizing that, no, like, a lot of people don't know that. Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And not a very good one in that sense.
Oh, God.
No, so here's the thing. No. Okay, like, you have to grade on a curve in the sense that it's still a really good movie. There's still amazing elements about this movie. You still have all fantastic characters. You still get really engaged in it. But when you compare it to how amazing the first and third one were, it doesn't hold up as well. That's not saying it's not a 5-star movie. It's just like maybe the other ones are like a 5.5 star, and that one's like a 5 star.
That's a grade on the curve here.
I do that a lot. People will find that about me. I tend to be a lot nicer to certain things, and then when it comes to like comic book stuff, I'm far harsher than I should be.
Do you remember, did any of you guys play the Indiana Jones video game, Greatest Adventures?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, the Raiders. I felt like I was the best kid in the world if I ever got past Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Man, those whip controls were crap. I could never get him to whip anything. I was always just whoosh, and that's it. It was like, look how cool I am, but I'm still dying horribly.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know. Honestly, overall, like to me that it is the perfect package movie, and as the trilogy in a whole, it's a perfect package in general. So, I mean, definitely, I feel like everybody's probably already seen the Indiana Jones movies, but if you haven't, shame on you, and go watch them because you are a hollow human being, and your life is worth nothing until you've seen them.
All right. So,
On a scale of 1 to 5.
Jesus and mine.
On a scale of 1 to 5, you have an empty soul.
no, it's burn your face off. On a scale of 1 to 5, you're melting your face.
No, it's on a scale from acid cheese to 5.
That's good.
So, Ashley, favorite movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, which technically they don't put the Indiana Jones name with that, right? Like it's just Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
No, well, I mean, technically they're all Indiana Jones, and then the subtitle, but yeah, the chapter is just Raiders. But I mean, like if you look at the actual cover, I'm pretty sure it says Indiana Jones on it.
They changed it with the trilogy DVD release because it used to just be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and now it says Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay, so like the fact that Star Wars used to be just Star Wars, and now it's Star Wars: A New Hope.
Right. Fair enough. Well, and I think that brings it to me, and now given time, because here's the thing. I was originally going to do Starship Troopers, which is one of my 3 favorite movies of all time, but it's not my favorite, so I had to do my favorite one because I didn't realize that's what we were doing. So, favorite film of all time, The Lost Boys.
Oh, so good.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
I am. You guys will know me as the horror fanatic. I'm the horror guy, and it sort of like Travis was mentioning about Ninja Turtles holding a special place in the heart because it means childhood. For me, I remember being young and in Australia, and my friend Alex, he's like, dude, you have to see this film, man. Like we've watched so many other vampire movies. They have nothing on this. Like imagine if we had to fight vampires. That's what this movie is. That's how he explained it to me. And I watched it and I was like, oh my God. This is granted Corey Feldman was in it, but it's like, this is the Goonies versus vampires, basically. That is exactly what this is. It was so good. So damn good. And I don't know, everything about it because I had always wanted to live in California. As a whole, my vampire knowledge was really regated to Salem's Lot and Bram Stoker's Dracula, a couple other ones at the time, and it was so cool to see this. Oh my God, I absolutely loved the Lost Boys and the cast, man. I mean, most of them aren't even around anymore because I think Keith Sutherland's really the only relevant one at this point anymore now. But Jason Patric, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, oh Lord, what's her name, Jamie Gertz. It was such a great cast, and everything about it was good. Everything was so good, and to this day, there's only been about 2 to 3 other vampire movies that have come out that have even come close to reaching the level that The Lost Boys was, and Joel Schumacher of all people did it too. That's what's amazing because I know this day and age, Joel Schumacher is not really a name not associated with good films.
You can't say of all people. He's done some really good stuff. I mean,
I know. It's just most people.
I mean, the Batman movies aside, I mean, you got to figure as long as he's not doing anything that involve rubber nipples, he does a really good job.
That's fair, but it's a really good vampire movie. It's already a good movie, but the fact that genre films are so hard, good genre films are so hard to come by. This was just a really, really fun vampire movie, man.
And a really serious question: off the back of this movie, do saxophones inexplicably turn you on now?
The guy from Tina Turner saxophone player. Oh man.
Do you still believe, Theron?
I do still believe. I do. Oh, even you know what? As much as I would love to keep knocking it, the music in that film is really, really good too. That was a
fantastic.
Perfect soundtrack.
You know what I loved about The Lost Boys that I didn't notice until I watched it years later?
What's that?
I think Corey Haim is like the first gay character that was like a child in a movie, and it was so under the radar nobody noticed.
Yeah, and I've heard that theory too. I don't.
Well, watch it back. So if you see
Theory?
if you see his bedroom in the movie, all the
he's got the
posters on
naked
all the
guy,
posters on
right.
his walls are shirtless like male Calvin Klein models, and then in the tub when he's singing to the radio, he sings the female parts of that duet and not the male parts.
There's this great cut as well of that saxophone scene of him just looking longingly at the shirtless guy.
Yeah, Corey
not in the
Haim,
movie, but it's
Corey
how it's
Haim
cut
was like the
together.
only gay child in a movie.
Which last thing I'll say about it there is that it's interesting, seeing you guys' choices, because I think Phil lucked out with having the only film that didn't have a legacy tarnished by bad sequels, because I think the rest
Give
of
it time.
us.
That wasn't luck.
You mean he wasn't the dude in R.I.P.D.?
Yeah, I wish Lost Boys 2 or 3 could have been good. But, yeah, Lost Boys, it is my all-time favorite movie. Definitely check it out. It is so good. Such a good vampire film, and just a fun film overall, and especially recommended to anybody that loves the Goonies there. So, yeah, that is those are our favorite movies, guys. Again, Phil had The Big Lebowski. Paul had RoboCop. Ashley had Raiders of the Lost Ark. Travis had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I had The Lost Boys. Definitely check those movies out. There are great selections there.